Rock concert movement number 1. The basic
my
head
microphone.
bob. Ready, go.
Ah. Oopsie. You didn't see that. That didn't happen. All right, we'll just leave that there. All right, Bradshaw with you here on a Monday. Somebody's got a case of the Mondays. That would be me and our internet connection. I have no Wi-Fi. I feel naked. I mean, I'm sure it's healthier for my brain if I was one of those, like, conspiracy people. The moon lizards are putting thoughts into my head via Wi-Fi and cellular. Speaking of Glenn Beck, we'll talk more about him in a minute. Too much stuff to get to. I mean, everything from Congress adjourning. The House can't pass a farm bill. And at the end of this month, it expires. And in some weird way, Steve King's taking credit for this. And there are things in this world I don't understand. I don't want to understand, Dottie. You shouldn't understand. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. We'll see if I can make it work. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Just go to thebradshawshow.com. It has everything you need right there. From the emails, Brian emails. I've been listening to your show for years now, and I've had this idea for a while. The thing would work now that you have a visual element to your show. You should put up a Frank graphic on screen when he calls in, so I know when to put my headphones back in. I know it's not the best idea to limit the exchange of ideas, but after a while I feel I already know what he's going to say. That's my big idea for you, and make it easier to watch, listen when he calls. I get more complaints about Frank. And Dan, what I need, I think, is like a Biohazard logo which I assume is not ready because we're having all sorts of technical problems here.
Oh, it's ready. I'm just loading it up right now.
Oh, bring that. So when Frank calls, this is what we need to put up.
Okay, give me 1 second. We're still loading up here.
As soon as it loads, you got to load everything into the machine, and the machine spits it back out. I don't understand. I am technologically advanced. All right, this stuff confuses. I'm not versed in this particular equipment, but in a service to those, maybe have it on in the office, maybe are half paying attention. When Frank comes on, we'll just put up, and this is very quick and dirty, and we may refine this as time goes on, maybe with like a flashing, kind of like an EAS or that CBS special report. Or maybe very special episode.
Ooh, it didn't work.
It didn't? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll work on it for...
I'll have it by the end of the day.
All right, we'll have it by the end of the show in case Frank wants to call in. He emailed me, by the way, over the weekend.
About what?
His life, faith, religion, and believing that he lives in the end times.
So he's a post-millennialist?
Well, again, this apocalyptic thinking... Again, nothing new. Go back to literally the original followers of Jesus all thought they were living in the end times. Jesus so said someone watching him would be around to see the end of the earth, and that was one old dude. Right now, but Frank does say, as a follower of Christ, I must view world events and my faith together. I am convinced how the end days will play out and how world events will unfold to that end. I have a bias and a preconceived notion, and when Fox News came along in '96, its message coincided with my already held views. This is an important viewpoint you must understand. Oh, I understand all too well. I didn't start to believe the way I do now because of Fox News. I view everything in terms of right and wrong, good versus evil. Fox News did not teach me to do this. No, they just are a handy way of conveniently handing you things to believe are evil. And people forget, when Fox News went on the air in '96, it literally was a throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. It didn't start out as a hard right outfit. there was just a hole in the market. In the same way, again, it's not like Rush Limbaugh invented talk radio, but literally impotent white men would flock to him. And they got to sell these Extends pills somewhere. Or these debt relief plans, or any of the other things that... tax avoidance. Dan, you don't listen to a lot of talk radio, but one thing I've noticed in the last year or so is it really has kicked in with a lot of get out of paying your taxes. If you owe $10,000 to the IRS, we're going to help you screw over Uncle Sam. Like, when did that become a thing? I mean, I'm old enough to remember when talk radio tried to get fools to invest in Iraqi dinars. And this goes beyond Art Bell trying to sell you time machines on late night radio. But it was literally to dupe, buy Iraqi dinars and invest in America's success in Iraq. As Iraq soars and becomes a power, the value of these Iraqi dinars will go up. That was, and it worked for a time. Same thing with pushing up the gold bubble. Kind of a screwy place. But when Fox started, it wasn't a hard right out. I mean, they put on like the Burt Sugar Show. They just put on anything they thought, let's see what sticks. Hannity and Colmes was literally Hannity and a liberal to be named later. He had just arrived in New York, was kind of a fresh face. No one had their paws in him yet. So they could groom him along with a liberal to be named later as kind of the, our version of Crossfire, because this has been so successful on CNN for so long. No, the power of Fox is, one, it is visually stimulating. I mean, if you watch it, there are some great examples of... Dan, your mic's still on. Of, like, polls, they'll show, like, unemployment down, but their graph shows it going up, and Mark Foley is now all of a sudden a Democrat, and that sort of thing. Literally today, and this is one of the things I want to touch on, they have bought into there are fake polls. Polls are not to be trusted. Don't believe your lying eyes. And again, this is spectacular of them to do, considering that Fox News polls show the president with a commanding lead. Now, again, we have a new set of swing state polls today. Colorado, 51-45, Obama. Florida, 50-45, Obama. Iowa, this is according to the American Research Group, but 51-44. Michigan, North Carolina, Obama with a 4-point lead. Nevada, 51-44, Obama. Wisconsin, 53-41, Obama. Now, again, looking at a single poll doesn't give you much value. There are outliers. There are weird methodologies. Some groups are more thorough than others. They all use their own likely voter screen. They're most valuable to look, kind of in aggregate. And what we're seeing is, this race is pretty, barring unforeseen, the unknown. Europe blows up, or something along the space aliens land. E.T. phones us. From what we know, this election's over. Now, this is bad news for the media, who makes its money off of, it's a close race and you need to tune in every day to know what's going on because it's neck and neck. That's the narrative that draws in the most viewers and brings in the most ad bucks. That's hard to pull off. And we saw this in 2008, where there are people who, not just the Hannitys of the world, who are pretty much paid to take hot air and insert it into a most uncomfortable place. No, not the back seat of a Volkswagen. But the rest of the media, again, if you know it's a settled issue, why are you going to tune into the CBS News? The flip side to that are the true believers who have a hard time seeing their worldview come crashing down. And again, this isn't high-minded. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal here. This is the basis of raw emotion. All right, the basist. It is pure Schadenfreude. It is absolutely tied into spending the last 5 years hearing the most horrible, awful things about, again, not just the president, not just Democrats, not just liberals, but myself, my parentage, the myriad of sexual orientations I am reported to have, again, as an avatar of liberalism. At least in the morning. My old job, I was probably, for a lot of people, the only liberal viewpoint they were ever really exposed to, and they didn't take it well. Only one confirmed death threat, so I think I was doing good on that front. But a lot of times I was the only contrasting view some people would hear. Now, a lot of people valued that as, okay, I want to know what the other side's thinking. Some people saw it as, I don't know, apostate, as blasphemous. And it was those people I honestly had the most fun with. But watching the true believers work through the stages of, you were all familiar with the 5 stages of grief, right? Anger, all the way through to acceptance. I'm not sure which stage this is, but now it's Fox is pumping it out. Republicans are pumping it out. It was on, like I said, it was on Drudge. This unskewedpolls.com. These geniuses have finally figured it all out. Yep, no Illuminati brain signals to these folks. They know truth. That the entirety of the mass media, and that includes, by the way, Fox News, is skewing its polls to deny reality and to hide the fact that apparently Mitt Romney is going to win this election by double digits. They believe that, I don't know if this is part of the we surround them mentality. No, really, everyone in America agrees with us. I'm just the brave one who will say it out loud, and those people who give me weird looks at the office when I say these things at the water cooler truly believe the same thing I do. They're just bowed by political correctness. Yeah, that's the ticket. People back away from me in public places because I know the truth. Sure. So with this unskewed polling, or unskewedpolls.com, and feel free, it's a little mind-bending. It's kind of time cube, but feel free to go look it up. What it does is, well, skews polls in a way that makes them feel more comfortable. In their polling, Mitt Romney leads anywhere from 3 points in the Fox News poll to 10 in Reuters and American Research Group. In their world, President Obama has a horrible approval rating that in -13, -10, -7. Fox News is in there with one of the better scores for the president with only a disapproval ranking of -8%. And again, nothing new under the sun. And this is one of those things that was probably underreported in 2009. And this was from Public Policy Polling. Decided to ask Republicans in 2009. This was the kind of the I don't know, fledgling Tea Party birther, not my president. But among Republicans, only 27% believed that Obama actually won the race fair and square. They got more votes than we did. Sucks to be us. 52%, a majority, said that the election was stolen. 21%, they were open to the idea, they weren't sure. I mean, a majority of Republicans thought the election was like Acorn went and stole the election. There were 10 million fraudulent votes in 2008, and that was the margin of victory. Like this, again, this wasn't just something on talk. I mean, this is what these people told a pollster. It was majority Republican thinking that the 2000 election was stolen. And I assume we're going to see a lot more of this as conservatives. And again, as someone who lived through 2000 and 2004, you can disbelieve reality all you want. It leads to a very uncomfortable election night. And again, part of that is getting in my way of enjoying the schadenfreude of this election, of truly just immersing myself in the right-wing tears. I've been there. Election day 2004, I was doing mornings, so that involves an alarm clock that goes off at an ungodly hour. But staying up through the night. This is when Air America was still on. I'm listening online. I got my news sites up on my, awesome 15-inch, CRT monitor or whatever I was using at the time on some sort of, Dell POS box. My first DSL was like 1.5 down. Ooh, I'm rocking now. But listening to, and it was like an all hands on deck. Rachel Maddow was there, Al Frank and Randy Rhodes, the whole kind of liberal group. And, it started out as a highly festive night. Why? Because you don't want to kind of admit that Kerry had run a bad campaign. And 2004 was a lot closer. You flip Ohio and that election, is a lot different. So it wasn't like there was no hope, but it wasn't likely. And as the night goes on, the mood gets darker and darker and darker till finally it's like 4 a.m. and it's pretty much turned into a group therapy session. Oh, things could be worse, and we gave it our best shot, and the folks over in the corner, oh my God, this guy is falling. Man, I've been there. I've lived through it. I understand. But as a member of the reality-based community, I had the coping mechanisms. Most of us did. To handle bad news. Digest it, breathe in, breathe out, and go on with our lives. We had important work to do, for example, right after the election, in stopping George Bush from wanting to privatize Social Security. Because, hey, what could have gone wrong with putting, Social Security retirement into the stock market in 2008? So that might, again, there was work to be done. I don't know if the right wing is similarly equipped. And again, whether it's creating your own polls, believing that the end of the world is near and Barack Obama will usher it in. 4 years of breathing in this toxic gas that is the right-wing, reality. I don't think leaves you in a very good place to deal with the world. And this may sound a little condescending. It probably is, because I do feel a little superior to some of these people. I don't have to create my own polls that tell me what I want to know magically. And it's all good news. Great. But watching the de-evolution, and not just the party of Lincoln, the party of Eisenhower, because that party is dead, died a long time ago. And it was replaced with the party of Goldwater. And now I see that in its death throes. And again, the crazy does not stop. In fact, on Friday I learned apparently that I am a CIA operative. Did you know this? I didn't either. I always thought that check just came from George Soros. So when we come back from break, apparently I am a CIA operative. Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot, over. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. And we'll be back right after this on The Bradshaw Show, bradshawshow.com, webcast1live.com. Thanks for watching.
I'm just saying. 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 Ching ching. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy, and about 20 years ago, I went to a used car salesman by the name of John Hewitt. He had a little shop over there on North 2nd Avenue called John's Auto Sales, and I bought a car. I found that experience to be one that I had never had before from a used car salesman. He was honest, he was dependable, he had integrity, and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, over the years, between my kids and grandkids, I purchased 7 vehicles from John's Auto Sales. And last month, I asked him to be a sponsor. And he said not only would he like to be a sponsor, but he would offer a $100 tithe for every customer that came and bought a car from him directly to the church of your choice. I can tell you about their huge selection. I can tell you about their years of experience. I can tell you about their honest integrity. But all I really need to tell you is that I bought 7 cars, and you can trust them. John's Auto Sales, 5435 2nd Avenue, Des Moines.
You need a good ride when you hit the trail. Trust the man with the cars, and he goes by the name of Big John. Big John. Big John. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right. Working around our technical issues here, Webcast One. Email me at radiobradshaw@gmail.com and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Just go to thebradshawshow.com for all of your Bradshaw needs. Maybe this will work, but doubtful. And I tweeted this on Friday, and again, just on a personal level, it bugs the hell out of me. Whoops. The attacks on... It does work on my phone. The attacks on the... I'm not sure what kind of weapon was used this time. Okay, I'll have to find some way to stop this.
Will be used against us and Israel.
Yeah. I don't know. Try it in a different browser. See if it comes up. On Fridays, well, we'll get to it in a second. First, we'll go to Ron, who called 244-0077. Ron, welcome. What can I do for you today?
Well, this is the way I'm looking at it. If Romney loses, which looks like to be probably the reality, the thickest book at Barnes & Noble will be the Mitt Romney Guide to How to Lose an Election. because
Well, and this is one of the problems. I don't know. Looking at Barack Obama's election history, and it's not long, but going back to Jack Ryan. Was it Jack Ryan? Jerry Ryan's husband? And then to Alan Keyes, to Hillary Clinton, to John McCain, and finally to Mitt Romney. One could say that Barack Obama is just incredibly lucky, and all of his opponents seem to kind of self-detonate. They all implode upon themselves. At what point do you say it's not luck? It's a good operation. It's why a number of conservatives wanted nothing to do with the 2012 election and already making Iowa stops looking ahead to 2016 when Barack Obama's not on the ballot.
This is what it is from the way I'm looking at it. And you can argue to death with conservatives, the usual suspects are. Barack Obama is a winner. Okay, he wins. He's gone from being a civil rights lawyer kind of guy to a college professor. He jumped to be a state senator. He jumped from there to be a U.S. senator, and he jumped from there to being the White House. That's some serious mojo there, okay? I mean, that's not luck. That's...
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't come out of a Cracker Jack box. That's not something you get from the Powerball. What I'm saying is, at what point do we start to look at what Obama and his team do?
Well, this is what they do. This is rule number one of an election. When you're running a guy in an election, it's a really good thing when people like that guy, especially your own people.
Well, and that's a big part of it. And I, even as a disgruntled Democrat, and I see the writing on the wall. I know that grand bargain is going to be one of the first things up. When Obama wins re-election, and he will do things that will anger and disappoint me. Again, not just because I disagree with them, but because I think they are unnecessary.
But before you even get to that, let me put it to you this way: you wouldn't mind hanging out with Barack.
No, I think that'd be a good time. And then that again, the whole who would you want to have a beer with?
Right.
Again, is talk to death, but is a smaller issue on a bigger rule, and that is be likable.
Here's the thing.
Don't be Nixon.
And that's the thing. And that's also the thing that Clinton had. Clinton was a really likable guy. You wanted to hang out with Elvis. He was a guy. Clinton was a guy you'd want to take a road trip with. Although it'd take you forever to get through Nevada. But other than that,
yeah, I mean that's what Mondale, Dukakis, Kerry, Romney were all missing. Was the more likable candidate, and this is one of the things that Barack Obama has always used, and this is. Again, it shouldn't necessarily be a book of how to blow an election.
Now
it's more of a. But hold on, it's more of a how to get your opponent to blow the election for you. And chapter 1 is discredit your opposition by being likable, by being a good person, by being the one that they want to have a beer with. And now, when the other team wants to come and cut you off the knees and throw the most vile stuff at you, because again, before you can win, you kind of have to have a good idea of what your opponent's going to do. And it's not like Republicans haven't been telegraphing this for the last 5 years. He's a Kenyan Muslim socialist communist Nazi usurper who's very clean and articulate. He is an empty suit and an all-encompassing tyrant at the same time.
And the problem is they went to that right away. They didn't go by stages. They didn't plan it out. They went full ballistic.
Well, in 2009, they didn't have anything else. That was all they had. It was the only weapon at their disposal.
But once you go there, that's where you're stuck. You can't go anywhere else. It's like they've been there for 4 years, and everyone else just has kind of listens to it like white noise. But the important factor is you got a guy like Barry, who everyone likes, most people like, but there are hardcore people who detest him, and they refuse to believe that he's that likable. That's part of the book.
Well, again, those people, and again, I want to pull a Mitt Romney and say we need to write off the pores, but if you believe that Barack Obama is, next in line with Mao and Stalin, you're probably, you're not an undecided voter, and we'll just leave it at that. But what you can do, and hold on, this is where I think, rather than just mocking Mitt, and trust me, I love doing that as much more than the next guy, is looking at the Obama team. How do we use this insane right wing against Mitt? That's the real issue here. Because Romney would have loved to walk away from that right, count them as votes in hand, and spend his time trying. And again, I don't know if he has the faculties to do this as we see him exposed on the trail. And what was it today? Wondering why you can't roll down airplane windows to get oxygen.
I missed that one. But
that was, but when you see Ann Romney, doing the stop it, you're lucky to have Mitt.
To other Republicans, not to the opposition. This is what she has to say to the other Republicans, and that tells you this guy's a loser.
Well, it's not that he's a loser. Is that look, Mitt Romney ain't a loser. I mean, he's a lot of things.
He's a loser. He's silver spoon, and that got him far. But when it comes down to fighting the trenches, he ain't got what it takes.
Well, I don't think he has the room to be anything else. I mean, we complain about the election cycle, and it's too long, and it's too ponderous, and they spend way too much time on electoral junk food of very little sustenance, and doesn't last very long. But through that process, I mean, you really are exposed. If you are an uptight Massachusetts John Kerry, that's going to show. Okay, if you are...
This is the last point I want to make. Right. This is what closes the door. People like Barry. Barry is the guy they went to school with back in the day. They knew that Barry would go make something of himself, blah, blah, blah. Even his own people don't like Mitt, all right? I mean, that's the bottom line. You really have to have your own people like you. But he's a Grover Norquist candidate. But the theory is we don't care whether he's likable or not. All we want to know is whether or not he can sign legislation that we're going to put under his hand. And they think that's going to get it done, and a mountain of money is going to get it done. And we'll see on November 6th. We'll see if that works out for him. I don't think so.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, Ron. I appreciate the call. But my point is, again, this wasn't the campaign that Mitt Romney wanted to run. This wasn't the campaign that his people wanted to run. This was a strategic use of the right-wing base against the Republican Party. Call it rope-a-dope, call it, electoral jiu-jitsu. For all the Romney gaffes, and they are aplenty, I'm not sure how many of those are true unforced errors. Now, some of it is just, again, exposing Mitt for who he is. He is an awkward multimillionaire who doesn't react well to the plebes, for lack of a better term. That, I think, is well known at this point. But again, lessening the number of avenues of escape from the right-wing base so that he is tied to them. Again, I would have loved to have seen a Huckabee. Again, someone who is, in spite of himself, likable. Someone who doesn't at all have to worry about the right wing. He can safely ignore the Pat Robertsons and the liberty universities. He doesn't need to court them. He's already got them. His social conservative, bona fides are true. I would like to see what the Obama team would do with a candidate like this. I'm guessing the election would look very similar, but in completely different ways. And the point I was making, between Alan Keyes, it was just Alan Keyes, but the Hillary Clinton campaign, the McCain campaign, the Romney campaign, at some point, it's not dumb luck. At some point, you just got to say, whatever you're doing to these people, it's the five-finger touch of death or whatever. What was that from the... You got to give credit to the Obama campaign. They are running a good campaign. And the way you can tell is watch the Romney campaign respond. How many Romney relaunches have we had in the last 2 weeks? 3, 4? How many, 4-word slogans of the day have there been? And it seems, we're not even to October yet. We're in the last week of September. And the Romney team seems out of gas. I mean, literally the campaign at this point is, did you see what Obama said? What else are they running on? All right, 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw.
So 2 things.
Yeah.
I've got the Frank graphic.
Oh.
It's up and great.
In case he calls.
I was hoping that was Frank.
Can we preview it?
Oh yeah.
So this we'll use as our warning. When Frank is on the phone, I think that pretty much sums up.
Yeah, I like it. So we got that. And did you see? I think it was yesterday. Mitt Romney gave an interview on like 60 Minutes, and they were flying around in his private jet that's almost as big as Air Force One.
No, that's just a campaign plane. That's normal. Every campaign
hand painted. We believe in America.
That's normal. In fact, that's a lot of times how VP names leak. That's how John Edwards' name leaked in 2004. Is someone got a picture of the plane being repainted to Kerry Edwards, and we have you scooped now.
It just seems kind of he's out of touch enough. You think he wouldn't give an interview on the jet?
That's normal. Again, as someone who watches, if you're campaigning, right, and you're bouncing between, California and Ohio and off to Boston for meetings there and to Texas, if you're hopscotching around the country, that's the only way to do it. In fact, there's either another cabin or sometimes even another plane that's all press.
Yeah.
What creeps me about it, the Romney, you can do a Google image search. The Romney plane is plastered with like portraits of Romney, like above every window. That's the one that's a little creepy to me. Usually, like the Obama plane in 2008 was a lot of supporter pictures and event pictures. Here, and again, I find it funny that the right-wing nut jobs, Obama is the most arrogant man in America. Meanwhile, Romney is flying around on kind of a plane that has become a shrine to him. So the decoration of the plane kind of creeps me out. The fact that he has a plane is perfectly normal.
That's the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that's average.
I mean, I figure they have planes, and certainly he has enough money. He probably isn't taking his nicest plane, but...
No, he doesn't have like a 747. I'm sure he has, a Lear jet or something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a G6.
No, the 747 is something rented by the campaign. Just because you're moving a lot of people, a lot of places, it probably is a better, more convenient deal than, trying to book, 57 United tickets to get to Des Moines for a rally on Thursday.
Sure, it makes a lot of sense, but you would think they would kind of downplay that rather than give interviews on it, because it sure doesn't look in touch with, the average person when they do that.
I'd be more concerned about what he said. For example, when he was asked...
Well, I don't care what he said.
Well, no, I mean, Romney was asked, straight up, you paid 14% in taxes. We talked about this on Friday. Mitt Romney's Friday afternoon news dump was his tax returns and how he literally didn't take over $1 million, like $1.7 million in charitable deductions, because that would have dropped his tax rate below the 13% that he's always said he's paid. So Mitt Romney has successfully raised taxes on rich people. He should run on that. His own, but still. But he was asked on 60 Minutes, like, hey, you paid 14%. That's less than a guy who makes, $50,000 a year. Do you think that's right? And he said, yeah. Now he threw out the double taxation tripe, but I don't know, a lot of that's that job creator myth. As someone whose job has been purchased by job creators and quickly find himself out of a job, maybe I'm a little biased in that department.
Yeah, but his 14% is like 6 times what that $50,000 person's salary in total. It's his gross salary. So, I love another thing right-wingers saw that Mitt Romney gave more in charity in 2011 than, Joe Biden did. I don't really care about that.
Literally, Mitt Romney gave more in charity in 2011 than Joe Biden made in the last decade.
Sure. But that's, I don't really care about the charity thing. I'm just saying that there is something to be said for he's paying millions of dollars in taxes. So, that's, you can tell me all you want that somebody with $50,000 gets taxed at a higher rate, but they're paying significantly less.
Well, yeah, because I don't know what your charitable deduction was in 2011. I'm guessing it wasn't 1.7 million.
No, I don't make 1.7.
Lower.
Yeah, I make significantly less.
And that's kind of my point is.
But it doesn't
lose.
It's still a lot of money. I think each individual person should be required to pay a certain amount, or a flat tax sounds a lot fairer to me. And on flat tax,
by the way, that's what Mitt Romney pays, basically, is a flat tax. Most of his income.
Yeah, I would like that to be available to us.
Doesn't come from a wage, though. It comes from investments.
It's capital gains.
Yeah, and that's what he pays, is that 15%.
But that took a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice to get there, whether it was by him or his father. That's a different story. But, I hope to be able to give my sons empires like that rather than... So, I don't know. I think I would be better with a flat tax.
Another thing I found interesting in the Friday... Yeah, you really missed a lot on Friday, Dan.
I didn't miss anything. I thought my face was going to explode.
What?
Yeah, I had this sinus infection. It was horrible.
Gross.
Yeah, well, that's why I wasn't here. I didn't think you wanted it.
No. Leave that alone. I'm already having enough times with all the... Since it's harvest time.
Yep. The pollen's up.
Well, no, I've got corn husks falling in my yard. It's
what you get for living next to a cornfield, I guess.
This did not happen to me in West Des Moines. I'm saying. In Grimes, though, you get, corn husk, and it whips up the air, and it's like, oh. So, if you've got the plague or whatever, I just saw those episodes of Deadwood again.
Sure.
You stay.
Well, that was my thought. Plus, you would not have got camera changes. You wouldn't have got... I would have laughed at you and gone back to sleep.
No, but what I found funny about Romney's tax returns is we have a notarized letter from, a notarized letter doesn't say anything about, I don't know if you notarize anything. It doesn't say anything about the truth of what is in the letter. It's just that whoever signs it is actually the one signing it. But here's a letter saying that, from 1990 to today, Mitt Romney averaged X% from his taxes. And I found he goes back to 1990. So we conclude all those years when the capital gains rate was 30%.
A notary does, though. I used to be a notary, so I know a little bit about the position. A notary, at least in the state of Iowa, binds you not only to the signatures, but it also binds the person that signed it that it's almost like a signed affidavit. So the person that made the statements, that the notary, he's got some legal liabilities there.
Well, it's PricewaterhouseCoopers, so that whole Enron.
Yeah, well, but that's I'm still saying he's got some liabilities. So there's some weight can be given there.
I just found it funny that they had to go back to the years that capital gains was 30%.
Sure.
Yes, he's always paid this rate. And I don't know what you're talking about. Move along here, nothing to see. We're never going to see the 2009 tax returns. And that's the only one I think that matters.
Yeah, well,
Did Mitt Romney take part in the IRS amnesty for Swiss bank accounts? That's the only thing I want to know.
We know this.
No, we don't know whether he was part of the amnesty program, because the amnesty program was for people breaking tax law.
Well, but see, part of the thing is it's not like Mitt Romney uses QuickBooks, so that could have been his.
His tax returns are like 400 pages long.
Yeah, I mean,
most of that
his accountants could have been doing all kinds of things and advised him all. Because I can tell you from having CPAs that they advise me to do things. I have no idea what they do with some of my money, and Mitt Romney well may have had that happen, and that's going to look bad. So I see why he would cover it up, even if he wasn't aware.
Swiss bank accounts were for a very specific purpose. Swiss bank, if you had to hide your Nazi gold and didn't want anyone to know about it,
Swiss banks. I understand,
Swiss banks were where you're going to go. And no one could have expected that secrecy to be threatened.
Yeah, but you also got to remember the religion in which this man comes from is all about having stores. I mean, they set up food storage, they set up money storage. He probably has money in holes in his backyard. It wouldn't surprise me.
Which backyard?
Exactly. They're probably in all of them.
He's got a collection of backyards.
He's probably got a Frank Lucas underneath the doghouse in every single backyard.
Keep the cash in the car. That's why he's building a car elevator.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if he had cash.
As like elevator ballast, he's using wads of cash.
Well,
he's got like the Walter White size,
that'd be awesome.
Cash pile, and that brings up, the Cadillacs.
It's just one of those deals where it's like their religion is all about hoarding stuff and hiding stuff and putting things in different places. So come doomsday, you've got yourself covered. And so that doesn't really surprise me that a very rich Mormon would have a Swiss bank account. It wouldn't even surprise me if they did so in a legal fashion.
It would not surprise me if he did it in a legal fashion. We know he kept money in, for example, the Caymans.
Sure.
The point with the IRS settlement was in 2009, UBS threatened to give up their customer list. And the IRS, seeing this as an opportunity, offered a one-time amnesty. Not just for having a Swiss bank account. Those are perfectly normal and legal. You report it. You put it down as an asset and income and all that stuff. As long as you put it on, there's all sorts of forms and fun when it comes to international accounts. The IRS amnesty wasn't for having a Swiss bank account. It was not paying your taxes on it. And what the IRS said was, in this window, pay your back taxes, pay a small penalty, and we will grant an amnesty. There will be no charges. Come in from the cold, and everything is fine. You can either come to us now, or if this list gets released, we're going to come looking for you later. And so people rush to that. It's the only thing that makes sense for not releasing the tax returns. We already know Mitt's rich. It's not like that's going to shock anything. We even know that he made personal investments like in Stericyde that might not necessarily conform to Republican views. We know he was investing, for example, in gambling and Marriott pay-per-view porn. So it's not like there would be any damning revelation there. And if you're Mitt Romney, you've been running for president for the past, 6 years anyway. You're not going to do anything stupid on your taxes that might put that in jeopardy. The only thing you couldn't have planned for was the threat of the end of Swiss secrecy. It's the only hypothesis that makes sense, and that's why we're never going to see Mitt Romney's 2009 tax return, because it would disqualify him even more than what he says disqualifies him. Because back in July, Romney said if I paid more in taxes than I was required to, that would disqualify me. I think that would disqualify me. And when you don't take $1.7 million in deductions you're legally allowed, isn't that paying more in taxes than you have to?
I don't even get why he would say a statement like that.
Well, because up until Friday, it was, you're not going to know squat about my taxes. The problem was another statement he made, which is that I never paid less than 13%. If he had taken that $1.7 million in deductions he was allowed, would have brought him below the 13%. Or what I said on Friday, he's turned the U.S. tax code, which is long and complicated and needs lots of work and is filled with the best loopholes money can buy, into a choose-your-own-adventure book. Remember those from middle school?
I am aware of those, yes.
If you'd like to pay over 13% in taxes, flip to page 162. oh, it's the good ending. That's what came about on Friday. But I still want to see the 2009 returns, just to know. If here's a guy arguing, you need to cut my taxes 20%. Under the Paul Ryan budget, my tax rate would be, I believe it was 0.83%, which...
It's higher than mine.
0.8.
It is. I haven't paid taxes in years. I'm a business owner. I write it all off.
You're one of the 47%?
I'm one of the ones that gets to write it all off.
All right. Well, Mitt Romney did say he wasn't going to waste time worrying about your vote, and I know he doesn't have it. So
that's true.
Maybe he's a soothsayer.
He probably should worry about my vote though, because I'm a stereotypical Republican base.
You kind of are.
Yeah,
and
I totally am.
I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
It's all right.
I normally do.
I am their normal base, and they can't seem to secure my vote.
All right, quick break. We'll be back. I'll explain my CIA ties when we return here on The Bradshaw Show on webcast1live.com. Thanks for watching.
I'm just saying. 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 Ching ching. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy, and about 20 years ago, I went to a used car salesman by the name of John Hewitt. He had a little shop over there on North 2nd Avenue called John's Auto Sales, and I bought a car. I found that experience to be one that I had never had before from a used car salesman. He was honest, he was dependable, he had integrity, and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, over the years, between my kids and grandkids, I purchased 7 vehicles from John's Auto Sales. And last month, I asked him to be a sponsor. And he said not only would he like to be a sponsor, but he would offer a $100 tithe for every customer that came and bought a car from him directly to the church of your choice. I can tell you about their huge selection. I can tell you about their years of experience. I can tell you about their honest integrity. But all I really need to tell you is that I bought 7 cars, and you can trust them. John's Auto Sales, 5435 2nd Avenue, Des Moines.
You need a good ride when you hit the trail. Trust the man with the cars, and he goes by the name of Big John. Big John. Big John.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Rock concert.
Hello there.
Number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
As we do the show today, basically tethered off my phone. Brent, you have bandwidth issues. We're just leaving it at that. Thanks for coming along on The Bradshaw Show. TheBradshawShow.com. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. So, and yes, this is somewhat personal because I knew roundabout Sean Smith, or Vile Rat, as he was known online. And on Friday's Glenn Beck show, and again, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob, with Glenn Beck off the air here in Des Moines. I honestly have not been aware of the fever dream. But the day that the day after.
Fever dream?
Is pretty much what Glenn Beck's been living in the last few years. Kind of taken on the role of end times prophet. That prepare for the end of the world by your survival seed bank that Mormonism teaches.
Yeah.
Has been taken very successfully, business-wise, by adult Mormon convert Glenn Beck. And he went on his show on Friday to talk about Sean Smith. I don't play much EVE Online, and this is an internet spaceship game that is basically Microsoft Excel in space. The game is obnoxious, but Sean Smith played, and I played, and continue in many other games, to play with people from the Something Awful forums. This is just a web forum where we goons go in and generally cause mirth and merriment wherever we go. There might be some light trolling involved. Sean Smith was a prominent player, and Glenn Beck is discussing Sean on his Friday show, and says he noticed they're watching the 3 exits. Talking about the Benghazi consulate. What does he do? He doesn't call the White House. He doesn't call the State Department, the embassy in Tripoli. He calls a gaming website, which is the first thing I would do. I'm like, I got to check with my pals on the gaming website. And he says, we're in Benghazi at a safe house. If we get out of this one alive, I'll let you know. There are people watching all 3 exits. Gang, this is Glenn Beck, he's not telling his friendly gamers. He's a CIA agent. He is telling people, this is where we are. Help us. He was telling something awful goons who are apparently now a CIA front, and as a member, I am now apparently a CIA agent. Like, I don't know, somewhere out there, and I'm sure to the residents of Glenn Beckistan, this makes perfect sense. I am glad this is not somewhere I inhabit, and not a place I can readily get to or put myself. But whether, again, it's Mitt Romney coming out before we even knew the whole story to try to beat the president over the head, literally with the cooling body of someone I know, to Glenn Beck now invoking, good guy, mod, game player, as a CIA spy, to further his kind of insane fever dream conspiracy theory black helicopter. I mean, it's one thing when it's just kind of obscure and out there, and again, as someone who programmed a Glenn Beck radio station for years, you just kind of get used to it and kind of get numb to the crazy. But then when it's someone you know and are aware of and know the story behind, but literally Glenn Beck believes I'm in the CIA now, I guess. And in his world it makes sense, which is, that's an even scarier thought. Okay, let's wind things down, shall we? Again, the takeaway news for the day is, again, another day, another set of swing state polls that show the president, not just with leads, but with commanding leads. I think it was Meet the Press over the weekend. Chuck Todd officially took Iowa off the swing state list. Again, called it back in June. It took a little time. I figured it would be by Labor Day. So I guess I was off a bit, but maybe this will make TV a little more bearable. We get a couple more days of polls backing up the numbers we saw on Friday. And all of a sudden, they start canceling ad buys in Iowa to move that money to more competitive states. And again, as a TV watcher, that is my most fervent dream. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Stop by, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Or just go to thebradshawshow.com. You can find show archives there. links to the Mixlr page, and we keep audio archives there if you just want. I mean, I know I'm pretty, but some people just want the audio, and I get that. That's all there on thebradshawshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow here on webcast1live.com. Thanks for watching, and stay warm. It's a little chilly out there. See you tomorrow.